Street Fair, Book 2 of the Fair Folk Chronicles, written by Jeffrey Cook and Catherine Perkins, narrated by Fairy Princess Lolly. Chapter 15, Wandering. Well, Megan commented as they started to make their way to the very edge of the swamp, we can't get too negative. The dead tactician guy might just be wandering aimlessly until he wears out again. We don't know that he's actually going to do anything with the butterfly collector. She looked at Aisling with what she hoped was reassurance. Before the pixie could respond to that, a voice came from somewhere to their left, laced with counter-tenor giggling. What are the odds of that, you figure? Megan and Lanny startled, looking in the direction of the noise. Kasha growled low even before she looked, and the cats joined in. Aisling just sighed. Bother, you had to show up now? The figure leaning against the tree looked like a little middle school kid, provided that middle school had an extremely lax dress code and allowed long, messy hair and very ragged clothing. A look at his glinting eyes quickly indicated that he really wasn't young at all. Megan quickly remembered to look away. She'd had bad experiences looking some fairy creatures in the eyes, particularly ones with sardonic smiles. Kasha said something in Greek that Megan was fairly sure wasn't nice. Nice to see you too, Cass. What do you know about this, Rob? Enough to find it hilarious, obviously. But why should I drop spoilers? Merry wandering! And with another trill of giggles, he was gone. Check the supplies, Aisling suggested automatically. The sooner we find out what he did, the better. Why? Who was that? Megan asked, even while starting to help Lonnie, who was already checking their rations and tools. Robin Goodfellow, Kasha snarled, checking over her weapon and few other possessions. That sounds vaguely Englishy familiar, Megan admitted. Now that I've been at this stuff for a while, though, I'm guessing it's more complicated than anyone thinks. A powerful fairy, like on par with the king and queen powerful, in his own way. Except he just uses it to cause trouble, Aisling responded. Except when he doesn't. Those times when people leave him milk and bread, well, then he weaves a really neat sweater. How is that different than, well, the lot of you? Because right now, he's pissing me off, Kasha responded. What Kasha means, Aisling said, is that no matter how many sweaters he's made someone, the first time he visits and doesn't happen to have been left milk and bread, he's as likely to burn their house down as anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fun at parties, but Rob lives in the moment. I said what I meant, Kasha answered. I'm still not seeing how that's any different. Because, Lonnie finally stepped into the conversation, even most of the unseelie balk at things like messing with the undead or triggering ancient curses or playing with things belonging to the faerie. If it will cause some chaos, he'll probably do it. So why is he messing with us? It's what he does, and he must have pulled something, but all our supplies are in order. The granola's not even stale. So let's at least try to catch up with him and find out, Megan said. They moved for a while, trying to check the area around the tomb for tracks or any other sign of his passage without luck. The leopards perked up a couple of times, but whatever sign there was, it never led anywhere. Likewise, Aisling and the Count circled above, but, much to the pixie's disgust, never had anything new to report when they descended again. The group finally checked the map and started towards the final tomb listed, slogging over the soft, marshy ground. Megan finally called for a break to catch her breath and rest her feet. Sometime later, she called for another, with Lonnie and the cats in firm agreement. It doesn't look that far on the map, Megan said. You are moving pretty slowly, Aisling responded. Not that slow, Lonnie said. We can't all hop on a crow and fly. She's right, though, Justin said. Our destination is no further from the last tomb than the first and the second were apart, but it's taking longer this time. Kasha said, You're just slowing down because you're tired. Lonnie stood staring. She looked at the cats. Maxwell and Jude were both resting next to a tree, occasionally yawning and stretching. Wait, Lonnie said. Megan, we left the tomb, what, 2 hours ago? Yeah, Megan said, so it's probably safe to say by now we're officially lost. No, Lonnie said. Well, yes, but that's not the point I wanted to address first. She pointed at the leopards. Why are they still at full size? Megan blinked. Huh, said Kasha. Aisling sighed. So that's what he did. A dreamscape illusion. Robin freaking Goodfellow. One of his favorites. Okay, so I understood illusion, and we haven't gotten out of its range yet? How big of an illusion can he make? That's the point of dreamscape illusions, Aisling explained, happily forgetting her cursing of the other fairy to go into explanation mode. We've been going in circles, so, they're really excellent for tropical vacations. Get someone who can do them to lay one down, and you have a tropical vacation. Swimming, private beach, maybe a nice little house with a view, all in 15 feet. Till it ends, and you're in your bikini in Minnesota. I don't think this is supposed to be a vacation, Megan said, gesturing to their surroundings. Okay, well, that's the other point of them. To get people lost, or to keep them from going anywhere. That's probably it this time. Yeah, that's probably it. So how do we get out? It will go away eventually, Aisling explained. And how long is eventually? Longer than we have, Lonnie said. We need to find another way out. What are our options? Aisling considered. We can look for the flaw in the illusion. How do we do that? If he's that good, is there even a flaw? Megan asked. They all have them. The better the illusionist, the smaller the flaws. But eventually, his magic will have gotten bored with it. A tree will repeat, or there'll be the same bird sounds. If the illusion stops working right, and we know it, it's easier to break. We know it's an illusion, so it's already not working right, Megan said. You want a saving throw? You might know it's an illusion, but your brain is still getting information from your senses. Until you convince them, we're stuck. We can't just walk in a straight line. Why? Have you been drinking? Aisling paused. And not sharing? Megan sighed. If the illusion tricks us into walking in circles, it seems like we should be able to get outside it if we can stay on track. Sure, maybe. If you have something to follow that's not an illusion, you can think you're walking perfectly straight, and you've actually been walking without rhythm the whole time. Is that some sort of bard thing? The worms like bards just fine, yes. Megan blinked and looked towards Lonnie, who sighed and started looking around again as if she might spot the discrepancy right there. Wait, Justin, why aren't you dealing with all this? Megan asked. I beg your pardon? The sword, the magic canceling, you busted open the wards, you've cut through magic weapons. A whole murmur of sprites can't zap you. Why are you stuck in this dreamscape illusion thing? If you'll indicate where to slice it open, Highness, I'll be happy to follow instructions. Or you might let me have 10 years to develop a broader-based understanding of technique. But I'm hoping to get you home sooner than that. They moved a little further, but Megan's feet started to ache again, and she paused to rest, thinking through the situation while the others scanned the area around them further. Hey, what about the cats? What about them? Kasha asked, scratching Maxwell between the ears. Couldn't they, smell something and go find it, or something? They don't rely on just sight the way we, and, birds do, right? It's worth a try, Lonnie agreed, then paused to let Kasha and Aisling confirm the plan with the cats. Maxwell was eager to try out being the hero, charging into the trees, while Jude was more hesitant, but duly sniffed the air and started searching the area for a way out. Eventually, Maxwell came charging up behind them, stopping and looking confused, and Jude just circled back to them. Aisling shook her head. They're still getting the same cues we are. Having really good hearing and stuff isn't any more helpful than you having really good eyes. Megan thought about that a little longer, humming to herself as ideas bounced through her head. She rejected a few and finally stepped up to Jude while addressing Aisling again. So it's just an illusion, right? We only think we're seeing straight lines while we're going in circles and stuff. But it's not actually physically moving us around or anything, right? Right. Robin doesn't do that kind of magic. If he wants someone moved, he kidnaps them to a tower in Fairy or something. Lonnie twitched. Megan searched until she found a stick and brought it over to Jude, holding it in front of the cat. Can you smell that? Aisling confirmed that the movement of Jude's head was an agreement. At that, Megan pulled the leopard's goggles down, then covered the lenses with mud. Hey, what are you doing? He won't be able to see anything, Kasha said, moving towards Megan. Lonnie held up a hand. I think I understand. That's the point. Make him totally rely on other senses. Megan nodded, hushing everyone. He'll need to hear where it falls, she explained, before throwing the stick as hard as she could. As soon as she heard the stick land in the distance, she tapped on Jude's back. Find it. The cat took off in the direction of the noise, and, at Megan's urging, the rest of the group followed, taking care to focus strictly on trailing the cat. By the time they found him, the tiny kitten in the leather helmet was playing with the now much too big for him to fetch stick. I think we're safe, Megan said, crouching to pet the kitten and clean the goggles.
Hello friends, this is Gunther Hammerhands. Thank you for checking out Fairy Princess Lolly's channel. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you'd like to support these magical creations, fly over to our Patreon and join the fairy family. Safe travels!